The week of Thanksgiving can be one of the most profitable weeks for you as a dasher. But if you do not follow the exact strategies discussed in this video, step by step, you will miss out on the opportunity to accept some of the highest paying orders of the year. Therefore, in this video, I'm going to share everything that you need to know so that you can make the most amount of money in the least amount of time during the week of Thanksgiving. So let's get straight into the video. Sunday to Wednesday during Thanksgiving week usually generates 5 things for dashers. 1. An increase in the number of orders. 2. Higher peak pay and higher tips. 3. An increase in the number of dashers on the road. 4. An increase in wait time at restaurants and stores. And 5. An increase in traffic, especially on Wednesday night, due to travelers and last-minute shoppers. These 5 points bring me to tip number 1. Evaluate how busy your dash zone is before you start dashing. Arrive to your dash zone 10 to 15 minutes before your dash starts and drive around and see which restaurants to-go parking spots are full. This activity will limit your wait time at slow restaurants, as you will now know which orders to decline. Throughout your shift, you should also go on Google and check the live feed to see how busy different restaurants are and their wait times. You should then avoid the restaurants with the longest wait times. Tip number 2, avoid grocery pickup orders on Wednesday evening. Unless you physically see a decent amount of empty grocery pickup parking spots, or unless the grocery order is a very high paying order for the mileage and number of groceries that need to be picked up, do not accept grocery orders. The online grocery department at different grocery stores is usually slammed with last-minute orders, and the wait times are ridiculous. Obviously, this tip varies from grocery store to grocery store. If you are finding value in this video so far, please make sure to subscribe so that you can be notified when I post the best tips for dashing during the week of Christmas, which is one of the busiest and highest paying weeks of the year. Tip number 3, use a dash cam. According to the National Safety Council and other sources, accidents increase during the holiday season due to the increased number of drunk drivers on the road, increased traffic, bad weather, and drowsy drivers. AAA claims the Thanksgiving of 2023 will be the busiest Thanksgiving in several years, which will result in more fatal accidents. The NSC estimates that 507 people could die while driving on the road during Thanksgiving this year. Dashcam video footage can be used as evidence if you are unfortunately involved in a crash this holiday season, and as gig workers who drive more than the average person, we are statistically more likely to get involved in an auto crash. So we more than anyone else need dashcams. I will provide a link to some affordable dashcams in the description. Tip number 4, take note of operating hours from Wednesday to Friday. The operating hours for restaurants and grocery stores are usually different on these days, and many restaurants either close early on Thanksgiving or are closed for the entire day. Tip number 5, do not rely on PEAKPAY. On the days leading up to Thanksgiving, PEAKPAY will be high. If PEAKPAY just so happens to be taking place during the hours of your scheduled shift, great, but I wouldn't recommend adjusting your hours to meet the PEAKPAY hours, as PEAKPAY usually takes place when less orders are being placed, and the PEAKPAY may not make up for the lack of orders in the morning and overnight shifts. Tip number 6, decline more orders. Since the week will be busier, you can afford to decline more low-paying orders that do not meet the $1.50 to $2 per mile minimum. During the busiest times of your shift, be very strict with this ratio, as there will be many high-paying orders to choose from, especially on Wednesday evening and Wednesday night. Tip number 7, do not dash on Thanksgiving. Unless your market will allow you to make a large amount of cash on Thanksgiving, dashing on Thanksgiving won't be worth it, as many restaurants will be closed, orders will be limited, and you'll be placing yourself at higher risk of being in an auto accident. Tip number 8, expect the Friday after Thanksgiving to be a slower day. On Friday, most families will be eating leftovers, traveling back to their homes, and Black Friday shopping. If your market is not a very busy market, I wouldn't recommend dashing on Black Friday, as you may be waiting around for a large portion of your shift. Now, one of the most important rules of thumb when dashing is to stay up to date about the best dasher tips. And although we briefly went over some tips for the week of Thanksgiving, you must watch the video above where I do an in-depth walkthrough of the best dasher tips that you need to know so that you can boost your earnings for the end of 2023. Don't forget to check the description for some affordable dash cams. Everyone stay safe this Thanksgiving, and always remember, wisdom is free and knowledge is power, and until next time, take it easy.